And welcome back to DMG. This drive, unfortunately, has failed, and it just died of old age. It had almost 13 years of flying hours on it last time I checked, and this was used as a secondary data drive in my HTPC system. This is an older Hitachi Deskstar from February of 2008, obviously, as the label says, and this is a design that they did not use for long. The mirrored lid and the lowered section over the heads. So this is a 320 gigabyte drive. I expect this to have 2 platters. First, let's look at the bottom though. We have our main controller and that's an SDRAM chip actually, that's funny. And it looks like it might be 16 megabyte cache. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this drive. Yes, Hitachi does make impeccably reliable drives. However, everything will eventually fail, as did this one. So just make sure you have a solid backup, and you should be all good. And wow, the seal on this thing is still very tight. Oh, there you are. So it has these odd marks on the platter, and those aren't fingerprints. I didn't touch the platter. I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, it has these odd little marks. There's one there, and it looks like the ones down here, I swear they just vanished. There were ones down here as well. Yeah, there's even more of them. Oh no. As we spin the drive, we see them more clearly. That might mean head crash, actually. That's really unfortunate. Oh, that's really nice. So this can just come right off. I think this is, yeah, this unfortunately is from when Hitachi started to make their consumer drives a bit more cheaply on the lower capacity side. So it's just a round coil instead of a properly shaped one, which decreases performance, and it's not even a properly shaped magnet either. I'm kind of impressed that this lasted 13 years with that non-ideal at all head configuration. Wow. And looks like we do have one pretty small filter up to the top corner, top left, and we'll get the landing zone, or sorry, load ramps out. This little rubber bit is stopping the heads from going too far, which usually would prevent them from going past the little strip that they land on and breaking, but now that only keeps us from getting the platters out. This may have been the Death Star era. I doubt it. No, was this? No, this was way past Death Star. That was like early 2000s. Yeah. This one, it looks like to get the heads out, we will have to go to the bottom. Not very many screws. And here are our heads. It is a 2-platter drive. I don't think I've said that yet. And the platters are pretty thick, as they used to be. That should be this whole assembly out. Yes, it is. So there is that painfully inadequate. That's the word. Here's that painfully inadequate magnet. And, I mean... Oh, I actually can't bend that. I was trying to make a point of how thin it is by bending it, but I'm weak. Wow, so that sucks. And on the top, ooh, on the top, there's an equally pathetic little magnet. So that's pretty disappointing. And these just swing out of the way and should lift out. Yes. Alright, time to get our platters out. Some drives I like to keep intact to put on display in my window, but consumer grade drives aren't all that interesting inside. It's mainly like high RPM server drives that look really cool. Now this is the chassis that Toshiba later bought the factory for and started producing subpart drives. But there are two big distinctions here. Unlike the Toshiba drive, this still has adequate airflow through this little filter. And they're still using 6 screws on the head clamp, on the spindle clamp for the platters to provide an even load on the platters, while the Toshiba drives in this chassis cut that to 1 in the middle with a big metal cone that applied the pressure. And obviously that will bend over time, which can lead to uneven pressure on the platters, which is really bad because that can lead to warping and wobbling of the platters and eventually corruption or head crashes. Okay, 3 of the screws weren't wanting to come out, so I put the drive in the freezer for a few minutes, and that contracted the metals just enough for them to loosen up a bit. And here is our spindle clamp. Very well made, nice and thick. And our platters with, let's see, do we get a little spacer? Where's the spacer? Oh, it's tiny. So I'll add this to my collection of spacer rings. That's always fun. But there's nothing obviously going on with the platters. Oh, that's a nice cinematic shot of the screwdriver, but there's nothing obviously wrong here. So I don't know what happened. This drive also had an intake filter on the bottom, but interestingly enough, it's right next to the filter that cleans the air right off the platters. So filters on the bottom were a bit more common like 10, 15 years ago, but still it's interesting to see it right by the platter filter. And that's about where I'm gonna wrap this video up. There's not much else to say. I got 2 more coasters and that's about it. So thank you everyone for watching. I hope this video was enjoyable. Tons of other hard drive content on the channel if you want to go check it out. Been making it for several years, but that's it for today. So I hope to see you next time. Thank you everyone for watching.